News at Noon begins now.
People are protesting not only a deadly shooting in Minneapolis, but also a second shooting in Oregon. What Portland officials say about the federal government's involvement.
We have some more light snow showers moving their way through and patchy fog for our morning hours. I'll let you know where all this lands coming up.
And juvenile offenders from detention centers could transfer into adult prisons at an earlier age. Why the state is planning for this change. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on KREM News at Noon. I'm Laura Papetti, and we do begin this afternoon with breaking news. Take a look at your screen if you're not doing so right now. It is a live look at the aftermath of a fire that started in a Hispanic restaurant that is under renovations. This happened in the 9 Mile Falls area. About an hour ago, workers heard a popping sound and evacuated the building. After that, there was an explosion. Right now, here's what we know, that no one was injured, so some good news there. And as of right now, no more active flames, but we have a crew at the scene working to learn more about what happened. It's just 1 minute past noon right now. We're going to take a look outside. That's where we find Nicole Hernandez. She's standing by with a look at the weather forecast as we're heading into the weekend. Been a crazy week weather-wise.
Oh, yeah, definitely been crazy. We're not quite done yet, but we don't have nearly the craziness that we saw earlier this week. So right now we actually have a few snow showers that are moving their way through North Idaho right now. We've been taking a look at some of our live cameras like at Schweitzer and at Silver, and sure enough, we've got a little bit of snow moving its way in. They're all pretty light though, and they're moving their way through pretty quickly. We knew this was going to happen. This is the last of our moisture from the low pressure system that moved its way through this week. It was actually two different ones, but the most recent one that caused that snow squall. The last of the moisture is now making its way out of our region, and we stick with these slight snow chances through the rest of the day. Here, live look over Coeur d'Alene. Obviously, there's no snow there. It's just kind of hit or miss depending on where you are. We are 35 degrees now, but it feels colder than that. It's 28 degrees. If you could put on an extra layer, if you're going to be outside, definitely do it because I'm a little bit chilly out here. As we look forward to the rest of the day, we warm up just a little bit more. We end up about 37 here in Spokane, 38 out in Coeur d'Alene. This just slightly above average, but next week, we're even warmer than this. I'll talk more about that coming up in our main weather forecast.
All right, my friend, thank you. The FBI is investigating another shooting involving federal agents, this one in Portland, Oregon. The shooting happened the day after ICE agents shot and killed a woman in Minneapolis. On social media, the Department of Homeland Security said the shooting in Portland happened during a traffic stop. The agents were stopping two people who they say have ties to a Venezuelan gang. DHS says the driver then, quote, weaponized the vehicle and tried to run over agents. That's when they shot their guns and hit the two people. Both went to a nearby hospital. Again, in the Portland area, no agents were injured.
We know what the federal government says happened here. There was a time when we could take them at their word. That time is long past.
Portland's mayor says federal immigration operations need to end in Portland until there has been a full and independent investigation. And there have been protests across the country, first for the shooting in Minneapolis and now Portland. This was one in Seattle last night. Someone did light an American flag on fire, but overall the protests remained peaceful. People expressing their frustration with the shootings. This was also a vigil for Renee Good, the woman who ICE agents shot and killed on Wednesday in Minneapolis. And right now, the families in the Moscow murders are suing Washington State University, saying the school knew about Brian Kohberger's predatory behavior and that they failed to act. The families of Ethan Chapin, Santa Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonsalves claim that Kohberger had a known history of threatening, stalking, and predatory behavior. Some new details in the suit reveal some female students had to get security escorts because they feared Kohberger. The lawsuit claims WSU employees discussed intervening, with one telling a coworker to email her 911 if she needed help. The families are asking for a jury trial and for an undetermined amount of monetary damages. Washington State might start transferring offenders from juvenile facilities into adult prisons sooner than usual. Washington law requires juveniles convicted of serious violent crimes only be transferred to adult prisons at the age of 25. But the state says that rule has caused overcrowding at juvenile detention facilities. The Department of Children, Youth and Families wants to be able to transfer offenders over the age of 21 now. It would only be for the inmates with sentences that would last past the age of 25 and who are not eligible for early release. And they would only make a transfer like that if a facility is over capacity. Lawmakers in Olympia will debate these proposed changes this year. Advocates for juvenile offenders say they'll fight against that bill. A community-based group called the Safe and Healthy Spokane Task Force is highlighting how the city is addressing the homelessness crisis. The group released a report saying Spokane has a strong foundation, but resources and crisis teams are still lacking, challenged with housing and workforce shortages, data gaps, and the lack of a streamlined approach. KREM 2 spoke with some people who are homeless, and they say before the city's latest homelessness services launched last fall, those living on the streets had to rely heavily on each other to stay safe. We do want to let you know that our KREM 2 News family is growing. We are welcoming a new team member on Monday. So here's a hint. She's from the area and is excited to be back home. Join us on January 12th to welcome KREM 2's new evening anchor on KREM 2 News at 6 o'clock.